So much of our conversations about healthcare capacity during the pandemic have been about what happens once somebody gets to the hospital. Will there be an ICU bed if needed? Nurses to staff it? Well, the stretch and strain on the system starts well before that point out in rural Colorado. There are ambulance services there covering huge areas, sometimes with only one crew on duty when somebody needs to go to the hospital. Mark Salinger takes us to Lyman.
I think, a lot of the times folks just don't realize the adversity that comes along with rural living.
In this part of Colorado,
It's a challenge that we take on every day.
every second counts.
Every call takes an hour and 3/4 to 2 hours at least, and if not longer. It's 15 miles from here to the hospital.
Rob Handley's ambulance service in Lyman serves around 3,000 people in Lincoln County and beyond.
It's over 500 square miles.
He usually only has one ambulance and crew in service.
That's it. That's right.
Resources and cash have always been stretched thin when it comes to emergency response in rural parts of the state. There are only 3 full-time employees here and a couple dozen volunteers ready to work when needed. The pandemic has only made it more challenging.
During the first go-around, we had maybe 3 in 3 months that were known COVID positive people or highly suspected. Now we're getting 2 or 3 calls a day.
That's not every day, but those busy days come more often now, though the number of COVID patients out here is still far fewer than any of the larger cities in the metro area. Still, the impact is big.
Out here it's huge because we only have one crew on here. So if something goes on where they have to leave the area, we always have people in the background, or hopefully we do.
Always on call, just in case another emergency comes in when the one ambulance in service is already helping out.
But we have to treat a lot of folks as if they have COVID just to be safe.
They could always use more resources, but they'll always respond when the call comes in.
On a good day or a bad day, that's what we do. And it's always about doing what's best for the patient.
An interesting note that Rob told me about. He says in some ways there is a silver lining of the pandemic in that more people are talking about and realizing the challenges that rural ambulance services like his face. A lot of times these problems aren't new, Kyle, but at least now more people are talking about it and realizing that, hey, this is a problem that's been going on for a long time.
Yeah, certainly not new that obviously a lot of what goes on in Lyman is driven by I-70. You got 50,000 people passing through there a day. Some of them are going to have medical needs. But then the other issue is that it's not as simple as picking somebody up at their house in a rural area and just dropping them off at the county hospital.
Exactly. The nearest hospital is Hugo, which is 15 miles away to Lyman. But that hospital, at least at the beginning of the pandemic, was not treating COVID patients. They just didn't have the resources they are now. So a lot of times, still at this point in the pandemic, the ambulance service is driving people hours to Denver each way.
Yeah.
And at that point, the ambulance is out of service, at least for people in Lyman, so they have to call in backup and more people who are on call.
Even more strain. Really interesting stuff. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.